Hey guys, just going to do a quick run through of setting up Docker on Windows. Docker is a great way for running containers on Windows, Macs and Linux so that we can run consistent environments across both production and in development. Docker provides a tool called Docker Toolbox, and we can find that through the website. And I'm just going to go through to the page where we can get the tools. So there'll be a link, download Docker Toolbox. This will take us through to another page and we can download this for Windows. I've already done this, so I'm just going to go through over to my downloads and actually run this executable to start installing Docker Toolbox. This actually provides us a few features, namely Docker Engine, which we'll use for running containers and building containers. We've also got Docker Compose, which would use for running multiple containers at once. Docker Machine allows us to actually set up virtual machines on different platforms. So it might be VirtualBox on your local machine, could be AWS or DigitalOcean. We've also got Kitematic, which is a graphical user interface for managing containers locally. And finally, which isn't in the list, VirtualBox, because Docker actually uses a feature found in the Linux kernel, and natively Docker can't run on Windows or Mac, so we need to actually provide a virtual host for running Docker in. So I've just got the installation here. I'm just going to run through these quick steps. I'm just going to take all the standard options and let that install. That normally just takes a few seconds to install the required tools. And I may just skip ahead here so you're just not watching that. Okay, so Docker's finished installing, and I'm just going to finish off this. I'm going to close the Docker website. And then if we just go into our installed apps, we've now got Docker Quick Start Terminal and Kitematic Alpha. I'm actually going to run this through the command line just so you can see what's going on. So I'm just going to go through and open up the command prompt, and I'm also going to open up VirtualBox. So this will just give us a quick behind the scenes view of what's actually going on when we run some of these commands. So the first thing I'm actually going to run is Docker Machine, and I'm going to do create. So this will actually create us a virtual host. Now I need to tell it what to actually use, so I can do this through the -D. And I'll actually use VirtualBox in our case, and I'll give it a name of default. So I'll just run this, and then on the right hand side in VirtualBox you'll actually see this virtual machine get created. It does take about a minute or two to just set up this virtual machine. So what I will actually do is pause this video again and just jump quickly ahead. So with the virtual host now running, we can actually start trying to build containers on the Linux virtual host. During the setup of creating the virtual host, you may be asked for a couple of permissions from Windows, so you can just go ahead and accept those. And the first thing we're actually going to try and run is Docker, and this will actually list out all the commands that we can run. Now if I actually try and build a container or run a container using the Docker run, -D, so that means it will try and run in the background, -P, which is for port 8080, and the name of the container that I'm going to run, which is one that I built earlier, QuickSight, and try and run this will actually error. The reason for this is that currently my terminal, my command prompt, can't talk to that virtual machine. Now one of the last elements, or one of the last bits on the output, was to run Docker Machine env default. So if I run that, this will actually tell us all the details of the virtual machine. So just run that, and this will actually tell us the information about the Docker machine. Now what we can actually do is run this command. So what I'll actually do is copy that out, right click, mark, copy, paste. And this should actually connect us to Docker, and now I can actually run the same command again. Now this is actually connected to the virtual host. This is actually now going to start pulling down my Docker container and run this locally. This would take about 30 seconds to download the container, and this actually has a small Linux style operating system in it running Nginx and a single page website. Now, one thing that we need to take is this IP address, because this is the IP address of the virtual host machine that we're actually running off. Now, if I open up my browser and I put that IP address in, it actually loads up the single page website. And that's basically it for this video. I'll start covering more things over Docker Machine, Docker, and Docker Compose over some later videos.